Inspire family. It's your girl, Sharon Fletcher. And as promised, you are in for our live webinar. Yes, there is Michael Samuel and Mindset Mastery mentor, Suzanne Hart, just as promised. So we're so excited. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but wherever you are, we hope you are comfortable. You have your favorite snack, a beverage, you're ready to take notes, just ready to take it all in. This is the beginning of our webinar series, Inspired to Win. Yes, we're all Inspired to Win, a business excellence series. So if you are not a business owner, but you're thinking about it, this is for you. There will also be wonderful tips and valuable information on mindset. So whether you want to start a business, you're not sure if that's what you want to do, you already have a business, there's something there for everyone. Right, Suzanne?
Absolutely. We're going to.
Yeah. So good to see you, lovely lady. So we have Mindset Mastery mentor, Suzanne Hart. Suzanne has a background in a plethora of things, but just to give you a little tidbit, Suzanne used to also professionally compete in bodybuilding. So there's some discipline, execution, being focused and having a goal and meeting it and excelling. She also has a background in community services and counseling. And she is also a top performer in multi-level marketing. And she has been a six-figure income earner. Multiple six-figure income earner, guys. That's no easy feat, and she has sustained that for several years. So we are tapping into a lot of fantastic experiences, background, and we're just so happy to have you with us tonight, Suzanne.
I'm so excited to be here. And you know what? I love when you introduce me because you're like first energy, and then you're always like 7 figures. It always flips out of your mouth. I think you're speaking my future.
Totally.
You're speaking it into existence.
Well, just before we dive in, folks, I just want to go over a few housekeeping things. So if you want to be able to interact, you can do so by if you see the button to raise your hand, or there's also the option in the Q&A section. You could enter in a question there, and one of our people will get to that question, and we'll be able to relay it to Suzanne. The other thing as well is this is being recorded, and it is being streamed to Facebook Live. So if you're a bit conscious of being recorded or videotaped, just be aware this is being recorded. Other than that, I think we're ready to go. And Sharon, take it away.
All right. So guys, we have Mindset Mastery mentor, Suzanne Hart, multiple six-figure income earner. We're so happy to have you, Suzanne, and to kick off this series with a peek into a part of the first module, the brand called you. So tonight, we're going to be discussing the brand called you. So we're just going to let you get right into it, Suzanne. Tell us a bit about this brand called you. What exactly is our brand?
You know, it's interesting because I don't think that people often realize is that you, the person I'm looking at, Sharon, is actually the brand. So I want you to consider that you have just walked into a big boardroom or a networking event or just anywhere you go, and you walk through the door. And of course, you're going to make eye contact with 1 or 2 people. They're going to make eye contact with you. There'll be people looking at you that you don't even know are looking at you. And in that moment, believe it or not, your brand speaks. Right? And they say we have 7 seconds for people to have a first opinion, a first impression. So in my mind, you know, my brand speaks through my posture, my confidence, and my confidence is often what I believe about myself, my capabilities, even when I'm not talking. You know, energetically, people sense you. It is my physical being, how I'm standing, how I carry myself. It is my stride. It's the way I walk. It's all those things. It's the clothing. It's the full package. And oftentimes, people think that it is, you know, it's my, you know, what I really need to work on is my logo. What I really need to my slogan. What I really need to work on is my products, my service, so on and so forth. But the reality is, before someone actually wants to engage with you around your products and service, they want to engage with you. And it's those 7 seconds. So there's a physical part to the brand call you. There is a energetic part to the brand call you. So I want you to consider, have you ever had somebody walk into a room? You don't know who they are, but they walk in and you go, who that?
Yes.
You know, and you're distracted by them. You don't know who they are. You've never spoken to them. You've never seen them before, but you're like, who is that?
You just stop the conversation. All of a sudden you kind of go,
Right. You can feel them. And we, you know, for men, we call it charisma. They're charming, you know, women, right? They're striking. And that's the energetics of your brand. And we don't take into account that there's energetics to us. There's energy to us, right? And we can feel people as they walk. We can feel their confidence. We can feel their energy. Who they're being in the world speaks before they open their mouth. So we've got the physical presence, we've got the energy, and then we also have the way we interact, right? And the way you interact with people. And I can often get I can get a feel for someone by how they talk to me. Right? I can get a feel. Have you talked to someone and you can feel their lack of security, you can feel their lack of certainty, it's in their voice.
Yes,
right?
because they almost sound like they're asking you a question when it should sound like a statement.
Right.
What you mean?
Right. Or they're quiet and unsure in their communication with you. Right. You know, oftentimes, you know, okay, so I'm from the islands. And my mother told me when I'm gonna leave the house, I talk a certain way, right? So when I leave my house, I have perfect English, right?
Right.
And people are like, you know, when Americans get me on the phone, they're like, where are you from? And I have to say, yes, I'm a sister. I'm a Canadian sister. And the professional woman sounds like this. And when I'm home, I sound a little different. And that sounds silly. It sounds a little ridiculous, but it gets me in places. It opens doors. It gives the people have a perception of my level of knowledge, education, and so on, just by my handle on the English language, how I string my sentence together, all those different things. And you might say that's right, that's wrong, right? But I know when we came to Canada and they found out that I was from Trinidad, which they at that time thought was a third world country,
Right.
you know. And there was a lot of weight placed on me, my sister and I having a dialect that was different. My sister and I coming from a third world country, so to say. And so I was held back. So I wasn't allowed to go to school for the first year. And my sister was held back 2 grades based on that perception, skin color, that. So we said we were going to be real, right? So all of those things. And so my mother had a demand that we spoke good English. She didn't care what we did at home. So we do all sorts of home stuff when we're at home. But when we went into the business world, when we went into the working world, I have a command of the English language that's probably second to none for many people. But that makes up my brand and it gives me access. Now I'm not into right or wrong. I'm into movement. Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because I was gonna say, so the way you dress, the confidence in your brand and all of that needs to be consistent with your products and services. So if I have something a little bit more laid back, like maybe I'm just making t-shirts, do I have to speak properly? Do I still have to conduct myself a certain way?
You know what? It is, it's interesting because I switch out of dialect. I change dialects depending on where I go. Right. Okay. And so when I'm in the South, I do a lot of stuff in the South, I can use y'all and a few different things, right? And it gets me, and I connect. But fundamentally, there is a grammar, there's a way that I conduct myself that's consistent with my brand, right? And that has my brand stand out. And there's part of it that is what is unique about who you are in the world and how you carry yourself and how you speak, how you dress, how you, whatever that creates this brand. And are you comfortable in it? Are you comfortable in your skin? Right? If you had a brand that was in the music industry or something, grammar and language may not be the same as where I am, right? I'm a speaker. I train. I do certain things. So how I conduct myself is very much, my language has to fit my brand, right?
Okay.
So there's some give and take around that. But at the end of the day, I know that I have people that are, when they open their mouths, they may be brilliant, but because of how they string their sentence together, how they carry themselves, I know they've already lost their sale.
So this costs your brand, your business money.
Right. So, and so it isn't real. And I'm not talking about perfect grammar. I'm talking about articulation, right? I'm not talking about accent. I'm talking about articulation, right? I could probably, if we look at all the dialects throughout the Caribbean and all the dialects through the diaspora of Africa, our homeland, and we look at all those things, each one of those come with an accent. If you look at Haitian, they come with an accent. We all come with our accents, and you can hear the residue of where we come from in our voice, right? There's a distinction between that and being able to articulate yourself.
Okay.
And I'm not talking necessarily about great grammar per se. I'm talking about you being able to articulate your ideas, being able to put together your thoughts around your product and service, being able to put together your unique selling proposition. It is in all those things. And what kind of energy, what kind of confidence do you do it with? That is you, right? And it is the way to which you connect with people. So when I'm talking about this brand, Call You, are you someone who creates relationships? Right. So I'll tell you a little formula I'll let this go tonight. It's called the success formula, right?
Ooh, okay. Sorry, Susan, I just wanted to maybe recap a little something for those. There's some key things you mentioned, that your brand, right or wrong, we may not like it, that people perceive us a certain way in how we look, but energetically, we got to make sure that we have confidence in our product, our service, in ourselves. And it doesn't matter how perfect you speak English per se, but it matters that you're able to clearly communicate what you have to offer, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to make sure we captured that. Mike, is anyone asking questions or having any comments for us?
Yeah, there's the only question that's come about is, for those people out there who would say, even like myself, who might be more on the side of introvert, how does this brand about you, like, is this something that could be taught to us? Do you necessarily have to be an extrovert to be able to manage this and to be able to be successful in this? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
So, it's a great question, Mike. And I remember one of my coaches, when she first met me, she looked at me and she said, "Oh, you're an introvert posing as an extrovert." And I was like, "Damn, she figured it out." Oh, right. And so most people, when they see me, they would say that Suzanne is a total extrovert. She likes people, whatever. I'm kind of the combination of the two. I'm on when I'm on, and I'm off when I'm off, right? And I like my time, and there's times where I'm like, don't talk to me. I don't talk to anybody, right? But the thing is, it's almost when you say lights, camera, action, and when I'm talking my business, lights, camera, action, it comes on, right? Because that is my public personality. Right? That is who I am. And I'm not a different person. It's the energy to which I bring to it. It is the posture to which I bring to it. It is all those things. So for me, as we go through the series, you'll hear hear me talk about managing energy, right? It doesn't matter whether I'm feeling sociable or not on the day that I got to go do what I have to do. Like this, I'm sociable. Right. And so it's training my mind to have my body fit. Sometimes I may have to create a state change intentionally to line up with the brand I want the world to know. Because sometimes Suzanne don't feel like showing up. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I really don't feel like doing a call. Sometimes I don't really feel like being in front of the camera. Sometimes. That's a luxury. I don't have, and anyone who's in business doesn't really have. So what you're saying is, yeah, someone may be extrovert, and it is not to change your personality, it's to find your energy in your personality, to find your strength in your personality, to find your certainty, if you will, in whatever that personality is, and to really to begin to say, how do I want, when my brand walks through the door, how do I want it to be known? What do I want to be have associated with my name, right? And so I'll take it a little further. Do I want someone that there's a whole bunch of habits around a brand? There's a whole bunch of values around a brand, So do I want to be someone to be known as someone who has a brand that's punctual and on time, right? Do I want my brand to be known as a brand that hits deadlines? Do I want my brand to be a brand that chases money or builds relationships?
Okay.
Right? Do I want my brand to be known as a brand that gives extra service? Do I want my brand to be known as a brand that is positive and smiling and energetic? Do I want my brand to be known as a brand that's positive and uplifting? Do I want my brand to be known as a brand of contribution? Do I want my brand to be known as a brand that gives to community? Do I want my brand to be known as a brand that has a consciousness, right? Mm-hmm. In terms of Black people and people of color. All those things are things that stem from my values, that stem from my habits, that stem from who I am. And we don't necessarily attach them to how our company is seen, how our business is seen, how we are seen as business people. And I will say to you that that's the first thing that people purchase. Do I like you? Do I trust you? Do I believe in you? Do you have a conscience? Are you consistent? Can I rely on you? If I give you my money, is it a sure thing? Is it a gamble? Those pieces will define repeat customers, will define repeat bookings, will define word of mouth, will define referrals, will define all those things. And notice I'm not talking about my product right now. I'm not talking about what I do. I'm talking about who I am.
All right. So we had another question that came in, and I'll read this out to you, and you see if you could help this individual out. So I just to keep people anonymous, I won't, unless you specify in your question, I won't actually mention your name. So I'll just read it out. So I've been told that I may seem too intelligent for people to relate to me. It could be intimidating, especially dealing with prospects that may not have the same educational background. Example, reaching out to prospects of lower income levels to provide services focused on their needs. How do I manage my brand so I could relate to all prospects?
Okay. So there's two pieces to this, and I'll go into my past life for a moment because it's a great example. So in my past, I used to manage a women's shelter, right? And we had a 21-bed crisis shelter, and I managed the team that worked there. So when I first came in the door, and of course, and the more often than not, the women who use shelters are of low socioeconomic status. And so as when I used to work there, I'd watch the staff walk in, and I'd be like, and my joke would be, did you all get dressed in the dark? It's like, seriously? Right? Because that's how they look. They didn't look put together. And they would say to me, they would say, well, we're trying to relate to our client. And I'd say, but I'm trying to give our client hope, and I want them to see us as pillars of strength, right? So please come into this space with a respectful look for your clientele. So how I dress and whatever is a respectful way of dressing, right? Mm-hmm. This is a distinction. If I am meeting someone who I know may not be as educated as me, may not be as higher as, I don't want to use higher function, but I'm going to use that just to distinguish, right? I'm going to match language with language, right? I'm going to match my language with their language. I'm going to use language that they understand. So for example, I had a gardener, and when she would talk to me, she'd always use words that were like off the screen big. You can't even see where my hands are. When
Right.
she would talk about a flower, and I'd look at her and go, "Is that the red one?"
Right.
And she goes, "Yeah, that's the red one." I say, "Well, why don't you just tell me it's the red one?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because, and this is where I really want people to get it. In a sales process, if a prospect feels left behind by our language, or we use language that they don't understand, they're doing two things. They're either withdrawing out of the process, or they're translating. Either way, they're no longer in the process because we've left them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So for me, I have an ability to, if someone's language is simple, I can go simple. If someone's language is big, I can go bigger. I can't, for some people, I can't go as big as them, but I can posture them, right? So really it is that I believe I meet people where they're at, because at the end of the day, my language is my relatedness. My service is my service. So my service could be up here, but I'm going to find ways to bridge so that they understand it. I'm told that I'm very good at making complex concepts seem simple, right? So I can take a concept here and I can break it down so a person who's not that clear can get it here so they can still feel empowered. So I think part of what's being asked is how does your brand, you, become relatable, and you can actually flow linguistically. You can flow in terms of your speed, your pacing, personality to personality, so that the person always stays engaged, right? That's why people study personality types. That's why people study all those different things. That is, and those are the subtleties of the brand called you. Are you relatable, right? Are you able to meet people where they're at? Are you able to, you'll see me talk to some people and I'll speed up my language because that's the pace they talk at. And so when I'm with Sharon, it's like, whoa, it's fireworks, right? Because you're
Yes.
a little bit more pacing. When I talk to Michael, my pacing slows down because he's a little slower pacing, right? I'm gonna pace you, right? Because I'm just mirroring the person I'm with, and that creates a little relatedness. And I'm so accustomed to doing it now that I'll do it. And I'm only going to pace up to a certain pace because that's not my personality, but I will range, because my number one thing is how do I actually create connectedness with someone so that I have a brand that's engaging, that I have a brand that's connected. So I hope that answers.
That's awesome. I just want to say quickly, something popped up where someone said how this is awesome. So people are finding value in this, Suzanne, and I'm really happy that we're able to give the Blacks Inspire family, and even those who aren't parts of Blacks Inspire, because you needed to RSVP on Eventbrite. When you RSVP on Eventbrite, you get to interact and ask your questions. So yes, people are finding value. And I also want to just recap real quickly that if I hear you correctly, what you're saying is your brand isn't your logo, and it's not necessarily your product and service. We're getting caught up in, having a right look and feel, having it look flashy. Your brand is you, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. And it's not to say I have a wonderful logo. We spent loads of time on it. I have like 2 beautiful logos. I'm very proud of it. We have our taglines, we have our slogans, we have all those things because they do have value. And I think people invest here, but they don't invest here, right? But what I realize is people buy here, then they buy over here, right? So my mentor, Mr. George C. Fraser, my man, right? Mr. George, he says that people will do business with you when there's a click, right? And the first thing he says is you must be the right person. Right? So you must click personality. So when Sharon and when we got on the phone, there was an instant click.
Yes, there was.
Right? And so there was a click. And then it must be the right time. So I'm doing this partnership with Black Inspired because it was the right time for all 3 of us, right? Mm-hmm. And then it must be the right thing. We all have a passion to earn, learn, and return to our community and to give back. So those 3 things create that click where we say yes. Now, we never talked about what product it was. That all happened first. I like you. I trust you. I believe you. There's a click. And once that click happened and we bought each other, right?
That's true.
I met Sharon. She said, you got to meet Michael. I said, okay. Right. Now I might have met Michael and said, I don't know about that dude. Right. 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 Or I would have met and said, yeah, he's cool. That's a click. And when that click happens, then we go, okay, well, what are we going to do together? That's the difference. We bought each other first.
Yes, we did.
Right. And so what I'm really talking about is that whole process is everything. It is your smile. It is your eye contact. It is your punctuality. It is your willing to give more. It is your willing to, it's all those things that make up this brand called you. So part of what we're going to do on the first webinar is really begin to break down some of the things that I've had to work on, right? That has me step into a brand that is now people notice it and they go, oh, that's Suzanne. You know, like even when I asked you, I said, what's the 4 areas of my brand? You went boom, 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 boom. You
yes.
rattled them off. I was like, damn, it's working, right? So there's so there's total alignment with who I am and what I do, right? I am physically fit because I'm in a wellness brand, right? That's a connection. I think everybody's in a wellness brand because wellness is what walks through the door when people see you. So that's just the way I look at it. I think everybody's in an energy brand because energetics walks through the door and people buy our energy, right? So I think it's just really beginning to look at that. So we're going to break it down in the module and give people this. Are you looking at this? Are you looking at this? Are you looking at this? And we're going to talk through some of them. So I'm excited to do that.
So one of the questions that just recently came in, someone is asking, how do you know what to focus on in building a brand? And I'll also tie that to a follow-up question, which is everyone knows that we're looking to do future webinars. So this particular one on brand, who is it for?
You know what? This one I think is for everybody. I really do. And this is the reason why. When I was raising my children, right? I soon realized that they did what I did. They didn't care what I said.
Yes.
Right?
I could say that as a mom too, yes.
Right. They do what I do and they look at me and say, just lips moving, don't care. Right? And what I say had power when they saw me do it. Okay. So really the brand of mom or the brand of dad has to line up with your thoughts have to line up with your words and your words have to line up with your action. So mom, dad, business owner, entrepreneur, executive. What I'm really talking about is, are we conscious of what we're putting into the world as people, right? And then as professionals, and then as experts, and then as someone who wants to be distinct in a sea of other experts. Are we conscious of that? So I think this particular call is for everyone, because what we're going to talk about is an awareness of who you are and how you show up in the world, whether we're talking about how you show up as a parent, how you show up as a husband or wife, how you show up as the executive of your own company, how you show up as the manager at a job. How do you show up? Because powerful brands have movement. They can't help but have success, because success, the really what we're really talking about is who you are must expand before your success expands. So I personally must expand my brand before my money will expand, right? I must expand my mindset before my money expands. I must expand my habits and my mastery before my money expands. I must expand my consciousness, my awareness, my the knowledge base that I have before all of it expands. So really, this is for anyone who really wants to be present to how people see them and to really get clear on what they're putting out in the world. So for me, when someone says my name, I want them to think of certain things.
Fun, fit, fab, fulfilled life.
Absolutely.
So based on that then, because it sounded like as if somebody could potentially have more than one brand, if you're saying husband, father, business owner. So diving back into, and she gave me permission to mention her name, so and please forgive me if I'm not pronouncing this correctly, but Shanique is the name. She basically wanted to know is what to focus on building a brand. What should they focus on?
Well, this is really interesting. And Michael, let's make a distinction. So I have roles, right? So I might be mother, wife, sister. I'm the owner of my own company. So I have all these roles.
Okay.
And then I have a brand. My roles, no matter what role I'm in, my brand is consistent.
This is juicy. This is very important. This is key. So repeat that again. No matter what roles you have, your brand is
consistent.
Okay, consistent.
My brand is based on my values and beliefs.
Boom.
Mm-hmm. The brand of Suzanne is based on my values and my beliefs. My roles are the different positions the different roles I embody as I step in front of different people, right? But so my brand of health and fitness crosses every single role I'm in. It doesn't shift. My brand of lifestyle crosses every single role I'm in. My brand of contribution, every single role I'm in. Punctuality and integrity, I am my word, every single role I'm in. See, your brand is so your brand is a reflection of what you value and your values, and that's the brand of you, right? So we're not talking your company and the logos and all that stuff. I'm talking about the brand of you as a reflection of your values, beliefs, guiding principles. Your roles are the things, the different places you sit in your life: mom, wife, employee. And see, for me, what grounds me and what keeps me consistent is those values, those guiding principles, those beliefs, those ways to which I enter the world consistently and persistently. And they are actually what I check when something's not going right. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk through that. Like when we break it down and we talk about values, beliefs, guiding principles, flagship.
Okay, so you know what? The time has flown by. This is just like what it's like when you and I spend time together, Suzanne. You know, you guys got a taste of this. This is the amazingness I get to have. And like I say, every good thing we have, Michael and I, Blacks Inspire, we want to share with you. And so we're really excited about this series. It's Inspired to Win, a business excellence series. This is for the entrepreneur who's committed to excellence. And this very first module, you got a snippet of it, is the brand called you. And so there is a continuation of this, correct, Suzanne? Absolutely. You can still tap into this at a deeper level and even more fully developed with the PowerPoint presentation, etc. Some of you guys were shy tonight, but if you had raised your hand and you were on video, you could actually have been seen in video and ask, you know, just the way that I'm speaking and Michael's speaking, just talk to Suzanne. That was the beauty of this webinar, guys. That's what makes us different than any others, that you could interact with her the way that I'm talking. You were able to type in your questions, and then of course just listen in. If you got to cook dinner, sometimes you got to multitask. We love you to be present, but we know you have other things that you got to do. You're able to have an experiential experience. Was that it, Suzanne?
Yeah, that's absolutely. So one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to break this whole conversation down into different compartments, and we're going to give everybody things that they can actually begin to do right away to begin to create that, to begin to transform who they see themselves as in the world, and to step into a powerful place. And it's to say that I think as Black people, we are so powerful. I don't think we tap into it, right? And so so it's really about helping us have a mastery of the emotion and energetics that we so beautifully have, right? I think the other part in this for me and why I'm so passionate about this is that I truly believe that entrepreneurship is the way of the future. And I think as Black men and women, we are gifted, we are talented, we have a lot to bring to the table. And sometimes what stands in our way is us, the brand, right? The who we are in the world, the how we show up in the world. And we have a history that sometimes frames how we show up and we're not actually aware of it, right? I believe that there's internalized racism. I think there's institutional racism. There's all those pieces. And when you have lived in that environment for as long as we have, it impacts the who we are and the how we show up. I think one of my number one goals is to bring that to a consciousness, to bring that out in a conversation so that we can actually begin to say, you know what? I design where I go. I design how I show up. That's my design. I get to consciously choose that. And so there's no limits to where I can go or what I can become or what I can do, because I'm going to have mastery over me. So when I say I'm a personal mastery mentor, I truly believe that my success is determined by, yes, a knowledge base, but most important by how I manage the conversations I have with me, because the conversations I have with me determine the conversations I have with you. It determines how I walk through a door. It determines how I do my presentation. It determines how I ask for the sale. It determines everything. It determines everything. So my work, what I love to do is for us to begin to some self-reflection and some self-examination and to go in and find that brilliance and pull it out. It's in all of us. We are gifted beyond belief. And I know that because every time I go through a process, I find a deeper level of my own gifts. And I find a new level of accountability for myself and capability. And accountability is just to account for one's abilities, right? And not to let ourselves off the hook. And I think oftentimes it's easy to let yourself off the hook, because living a big game is a huge responsibility, but it's way fun. Way fun.
Wait, can you repeat that definition of accountability again, Suzanne? Repeat that.
It's to account for one's ability.
Account for one's ability.
Right. Mm-hmm. We all have it, right? And it is to really know your greatness and to really be committed to giving it to the world, giving it to community and accounting for it, and not allowing yourself to dismiss your ability, your greatness, because it's easier to do that. Mm-hmm. Right? It's a whole new thing to hold yourself to a level where you say, I'm capable of this, and I'm going to blow the doors off this. So we're going to blow the doors off.
We're going to blow the doors off this.
That's
right. My posture just changes when I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm getting, but my posture just changes when I listen to Suzanne. I'm like, I'm ready. Let's blow the door off this, right? Let's do it. Let's go get it. Yeah. So, guys, you know what? We've had all this time. Let's see. A lot to think about from Shan. I think Lucianne said, this is awesome. We're getting fantastic feedback. I wasn't able to see within the Facebook group as well, because this is being streamed live into Facebook, but we'll see if there are some comments there that we can also address at a later time. But you guys, if you want this, the brand called you. This is just the tip of the iceberg to get you powered up, get your mind right, get you ready to really understand what your business is. It's you. And once you got that sorted out, there's no stopping. Suzanne, are you giving the folks anything tonight? I think you were giving them a gift. This is a gift in itself, but I think
First of all, share with everybody, Sharon, how they can get registered, how they can participate, and then we'll talk about the gift.
Okay, guys. So similar to this free session, you get in on Eventbrite. You have to register on Eventbrite, for the next module, which is going to be happening on Wednesday, October 4th. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So Blacks Inspire family, the beauty of this is what we all thought about is how we can maximize the reach so that you guys could all optimize. So no matter where you are, whether you're in the Caribbean, whether you're in the United States, whether you're in the UK, whether you're here in Canada with us, you just adjust to the time zone, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. You figure out what that is for you. You have a week from now to be able to get in on Eventbrite, register for this and start the series with us, this business excellence series with us. We're all inspired to win. And this is for everybody. This is for everybody.
It'll be from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m.
Oh, sorry.
Eastern savings time. Again, as Sharon mentioned, register through Eventbrite. You could see the link will be on Facebook within Blacks Inspire, and we're going to be sending it out everywhere. So for those of you on this call, you'll get an email blast, and for whatever reason, if it goes into your spam folder or whatnot, check to Blacks Inspire group or go to the Blacks Inspire page, and you'll find the Eventbrite link there.
That's right. There is also something else. You can get it through even. Oh, now this being streamed into Facebook, it is unique to this. Going forward, this is exclusive only for those who register on Eventbrite. This will not be shown again. So if you want to participate in this series, you got to register on Eventbrite, and you get this exclusive online classroom experience with the Mindset Mastery mentor, Suzanne Hart.
Right. So the price is $97, right?
Yes.
$97 and early bird, which is you guys can decide how long early bird goes for. I'll leave that up to you guys.
Saturday at 8:30 p.m.
Okay. That's why
we get about 48 hours.
That's why we have Michael. He does that. That's him. He's like, that's what we're going to do.
Believe it or not, you're getting all of this, and this is just a taste. Oh, sorry. You're getting all of this, and this was just a taste. And can you believe you're going to get this for $97? And we're even going to give it to you at an early bird rate of $77. Come on, people. We're just practically giving this away. But this is amazing. This is going to take all of us to the next level.
Right. First person who registers, we'll give them, I'll send them out one of my books.
All right.
Get one of my books. And then anyone who participates in the early bird session, we will do a draw out of those names for a book and 30 minutes with me one-on-one.
Woo! What? 30 minutes one-on-one with you, Suzanne? Mm-hmm. That lucky person. All right, you guys. So there you go. Don't hesitate. I hate to say this, but sometimes we like to wait till the last minute on things, but there's your incentive. You don't want to do that. You definitely want to make sure you capture and get in on this early bird deal.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
Shan asked where to register. It's on Eventbrite, and we're going to have the link in Blacks Inspire. So if you're not already a member of our Facebook group, Blacks Inspire, you need to become a member, because that's how you get the link to the Eventbrite. And Michael's going to send out an email blast. And then, of course, you can share that with friends and family and people that would value and benefit from this awesome, awesome series that we've pulled together to prepare just for you. Yay, Shan. She's just joined. Wonderful. Welcome. All right, go ahead, Suzanne, because we're going to be wrapping it up, guys. We went a little overtime for you. We're always giving. Go ahead.
I'm like, look at this.
So I just posted, so you guys get first crack. Those people who have not actually attended this live event, you guys get the bonus. So I put it in the chat panel. So that's the link to the Eventbrite. So if any of you are on this webinar right now, you guys get first chance at that. So the link is posted. And
wonderful.
Shannon is saying Facebook she's got, I love this training. I want more.
Oh, right. Well, you know where you can get more, folks. All right. So yes, you got to come to Blacks Inspire. You got to get on that Eventbrite, and we'll be here waiting to see you. So each month, the first Wednesday of each month, we're going to have a session available for you. $97. I think this first one for the brand called you will have an early bird special. We'll see if we'll have an early bird special every month, but definitely this month.
And the thing is, with every module, we are going to give homework. Because remember, I'm all about experience. I'm all about pulling it into your world. So we will give you actionable things that you'll do We'll make sure that people can communicate a little bit. We're going to make sure that this is worth your while, because, you know, as George says, you earn, you learn, and you return. Mm-hmm. Right. And so my goal and my trust is that everybody who takes this program and walks with us and does each model is that they're going to go into their community, their business, and they're going to earn, learn, and return. And they're going to share the love, so that other people who are in the process of growing get this information, get the knowledge and the wisdom. And I'm always growing, and I'm a product of loads of people pouring into me. I'm a product of totally investing in myself. I know, Sharon, one of the things that you asked me was, you know, like, what's investment? And you know, when I remember the first time I saw T. Harv Eker, he said 10% of income should go back to investing in yourself and pouring back into yourself, because you must grow if you want things to grow. So, you know, having earned over $1 million in my business life and plus, and approaching, you know, my second $1 million, you know, 10% is 100,000 plus, right? But, you know, when you think of that, the return on that investment is mind blowing, right? So it really is that, you know, we're making this really available because we want everybody to win, and we want everybody to start here somewhere. And I started with like these offers where someone was just, you know, willing to give an offering at an affordable price. And I was like, I'm there, pouring into me, getting that return on investment. So exciting.
And Michael and I have invested too. And, you know, that's kind of how we even got to find you. And we went to amazing, you know, the PNC Power Networking Conference. That was an investment, that was learning, that was networking. You know, I've done a lot of personal growth and investment. Michael and I have poured into Blacks Inspire. You've got to pour into yourself in order to grow. You've got to spend money to make money, right, Suzanne? That's just the bottom line. And if we discipline ourselves, and you're going to go into that even more so in the module, so I'm not even going to give it away, you will show some of us who are just starting, some of us small businesses, with the little that we have, how can we invest and still do what's necessary to take our businesses, take ourselves and our personal growth and our health, everything to the next level. Okay, guys, you know what? I'm sorry. I know this is how it feels. It feels like 10 minutes, but it's really been a lot more than that. This was supposed to be 30 minutes and we're here over. So yes, Suzanne will be giving you lots of wonderful things. You can get 30 minutes with her if you are an early bird. If you sign up, go to Eventbrite, get it through Blacks Inspire. If you're not already a Blacks Inspire member, you need to join, because this is where you want to be. Blacks Inspire is going to have all the tools and valuable information, subject matter experts like mine, Mindset Mastery mentor Suzanne Hart. That's just a taste of what we have to give you. We're excited. We're juiced up. Let's go get it. Let's go get it, guys. So thank you all for joining.
I just want to clarify with you, Suzanne, because I know there's some people out there who think, well, I'm not just starting out in business. I've had a business for quite some time. But correct me if I'm wrong. This is definitely something that even the veteran needs to take a look at, because I believe there are people out there who may have been in business 5-10 years and their brand might be all over the place. So is that correct? Am I correct in saying that?
Absolutely. And I'll give you an example. I was just at a training and I sat down at a table with another coach, and he was doing some mindset work. And when he was done, I said, "You just kicked my ass." And I said to him, "I guess I came here to meet you." Right? And I pulled out my credit card and I said, "Here you go. Let's just get me registered." Because there's a different level of everything. And sometimes it's hearing something different. Sometimes it's a refresh. And yeah, I was like, okay, I've been told, here's my card. I'll see you in January. Mm-hmm. Right. So it is, no matter what level of business you're in, I think if you're not where you want to be, and I'm not where I desire to be, it's evolving, right? So it really is around what different ways are you pouring into yourself? I read 2 books every month. It's always the poor. It's the poor, because great things in, great things out, new knowledge in, new knowledge out, new mastery in, new mastery out. And sometimes it's keeping things top of mind, right? I'm doing a program right now online, and it's not that I don't know the stuff. It's keeping it relevant. It's keeping myself present. It's keeping myself in the conversation, so that it's top of mind. And sometimes, and I love to hear things from different perspectives, because it's like, oh, okay, I didn't look at it that way, right? Yeah. So it is for everybody.
All right, that's great. Sorry guys for running over on this one, but you know, when there's so much information and good stuff, it's like sometimes this happens. So thank you everybody for joining. Again, go to Eventbrite or go to Blacks Inspire and see the link, join, get ready for our next webinar, October 4th, 8 p.m. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night. Thanks for joining us, guys.